You know what's really cool? Rollerblades. You can glide around, waggling your legs all over the place, and you only look like a slight tit whilst doing so. You can even fall flat on your ass. That's pretty badass if you ask me. You get it? Ask. Because ass. Fuck. Sadly, there's something missing from rollerblading though. Something that would make it a bit more accessible for the older crowds. Something for people like me to really get pumped about the sport. Something like Hello Kitty Roller Rescue for the PlayStation 2. I don't know, writing intros is pretty hard. Hello Kitty Roller Rescue is quite possibly the best rollerblading game ever made. Released in 2005 by XPEC Entertainment for the Xbox, Gamecube, PlayStation 2 and PC, Hello Kitty Roller Rescue is an action-adventure kinda racing game, I guess? Based on the popular Japanese character of the same name, Hello Kitty Roller Rescue was released to commemorate the character's 30th birthday by having her murder aliens. You know, normal shit. This game was released to somewhat average reviews back in the day, with it getting a 6 out of 10 from IGN. I couldn't actually find any other reviews on it, apart from this browser game that I guess has the same name, and I assume it was just made to advertise the game, but it got pretty good reviews for a browser game, so that's cool. That's good news. That's cool. So as we start up the game, we're met by a lovely cutscene showing Hello Kitty chasing this penguin thing when suddenly a fucking spaceship explodes and it's all like pew kaboo kaboo pew 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 pew, and all these fucking alien dudes are like, girl, let's go kill some cute shit. As the alien creatures begin to invade Earth, Hello Kitty teleports away to this other spaceship thing, I guess, where this frog gives her a wand and some rollerblades. This is gonna be a long one. Hello Kitty then goes back to Earth and murders a bunch of aliens in the cutest way possible. I would love to tell you what happened in more detail, but I genuinely have no idea what's going on here. It all just happens so fast and I'm blown away by how insane it is. I kind of love it. The second that cutscene ends, we're thrown into Hello Kitty's house where we're able to walk around and talk to some people. This area acts as a central hub zone where you can save your game, change your weapons and clothes, watch cutscenes and so on. It isn't really anything too special, but it does hold one of the greatest walking animations that I've ever seen in my life. Look at it. Look at how she's walking. That doesn't look comfortable at all, but it's more of a waddle than a walk. Like, or is it a shimmy? How can she rollerblade if she can't even walk? And why am I looking so deeply into this? So, hopping into the first level, we're greeted by a penguin bloke telling us that the town is in danger, so being the lovely cat thing that we are, we decide to go around and save everybody. Right off the bat, the player is struck with a dilemma of actually playing the game, as the controls are pretty all over the place. The attacking feels responsive and is fine, but the movement and jumping just feels pretty sluggish, making it hard to make more precise jumps. It also doesn't help that instead of building up momentum like, I don't know, a person rollerblading would, Hello Kitty seems to slow down after every stride she makes. This actually makes the moving feel like more of a chore than anything else, but thankfully you're able to use her dodging move to quickly move around, so get used to seeing her whoosh about. In terms of the combat, you have a pretty limited attack set, with the player only being able to use a select few attack combinations. You basically just need to spam square to get through, or avoid enemies, as a lot of the time there isn't really any incentive to kill them. Whilst most players would see this as a bad thing, I actually don't mind it too much, as the combat still feels somewhat satisfying, and I'm a sucker for bright and colourful attack animations. Scattered around these levels are a couple of items that you can pick up on your adventure. These come in the form of money and these little star things. Sadly, the money is pretty much useless, as it's only used to purchase food when your health is low, and character bios, which I don't really care about, so there isn't really too much of an incentive to go around collecting them all. The star things tend to drop after killing an enemy and can be used to fill up Hello Kitty's special attack meter. When the meter's filled up once, the player does a crazy spinny attack that's pretty useless in all honesty. But when it's completely filled twice, you do this big crazy sparkle twirl that kills every enemy in your area. It's kinda badass if you ask me. Hello Kitty isn't messing around. After rescuing a few citizens and dancing with a penguin, we move on to the next level where we save more people. Yay, we did it. Onwards and upwards, I guess. So it looks like this green dude has hopped into a tank and wants to kill us, so we gotta stop that. But how do we stop that, you may ask? Well, we stop it by dodging lasers and throwing grenades back at the tank. Yeah, this is a Hello Kitty game? Yeah, just let that sink in for a minute. After blowing up the tank and changing my clothes, because you gotta look good for the aliens, we go to a carnival where, you guessed it, we save some people and then do a little dance. For the most part, these levels have the exact same goal, and until the second half of the game, look somewhat similar to each other, which is a pretty big shame as they've got some pretty decent level design going on here, and the variety of enemies is also pretty great. Seriously, there's some really creative enemies here. It's pretty sweet. I personally really like the little submarine dudes who fire torpedoes at you from underground. I like it. It's nifty. So instead of going through every single level, I'll just talk about some of the more interesting ones. Otherwise I'd be repeating the fact that I rescued a few citizens and then danced with something quite a lot. After a few levels, we're faced with another boss battle. This time it's a creepy dude who rides a train around. To defeat him, all we have to do is hop on a cannon and shoot the train until it blows up. To be honest, I can't really see this guy as a threat at all. I have no idea how he can actually hit you in this battle. I guess I'm just too pro at Hello Kitty roller rescue. After beating the train, we head off to a supermarket where, after murdering a bunch of aliens, we come across this monkey dude who looks like he's seen some serious shit. But even though it's traumatized, it can still muster up the strength to do a little dance at the end of the level. What a guy. So after all that, we end up in this weird factory place, which is the most irritating level of the entire game. You have to jump to a bunch of different platforms to hit specific switches so you can finish the level. This would be fine, but as I said earlier, the platforming controls are pretty imprecise, making for even simpler jumps to be irritating and tedious. It's a pretty big shame as, much like in a majority of the other levels in this game, it's actually pretty good from a design standpoint, but it's let down by the iffy controls. After blowing up the factory or something, little Hello Kitty chases an alien in a machine straight into the next level. Ooh, it's boss battle time. Here we go, right now. This boss is actually pretty simple, as all you really have to do is dodge a few bombs, and then when it fires a rocket at you, hit the rocket to reflect it back into the boss. That's all you really do. It's pretty easy. But one thing I will say about it though is that the design of the boss itself is pretty nifty. It's kind of like a spider tank thing, and I don't know, I like it. After a few more levels, we're confronted by another boss, but this time it's inside of a baseball arena. I really love this boss. It's got a really nifty setting and the gimmick behind it is pretty cool as well. You have to grab baseballs off the ground and throw them at an electric wall to reflect a charged ball back at the boss, all while dodging its attacks. It's definitely one of the more entertaining and more interesting bosses in the entire game. It was a nice little surprise and I really wasn't expecting this game to have such a nifty boss like this. Now almost to the next level, which, interestingly enough, is based on stealth. Throughout this level, you have to push buttons behind enemy lines whilst avoiding spotlights to open doorways so you can progress. But if you get caught in the spotlight, all the enemies in your zone will be alerted to you and you can only progress by killing them all. It's an alright idea for a level, but again it's let down by the janky controls and lack of any real punishment. Even if you mess up and alert the guards, it isn't that big of an issue as you can clear them out fairly quickly. Let's just say it isn't the next Metal Gear Solid, but at least they tried. And to be fair, it's nice to see some level variation like this. We are then taken to an alien spaceship, don't ask me how because I don't have the slightest clue, where we pretty much just go from point A to point B, killing all of the aliens and avoiding these lasers. What do these lasers do, you may ask? Well, surprisingly, they don't actually deal any damage to you. Nope. Instead, they turn Hello Kitty into a cute little cube, which doesn't allow her to deal any damage for a certain amount of time. It's adorable. Look at it. It's so cute. I would actually find myself running into these lasers on purpose just to look at cute little box Hello Kitty. Little cube kitty. Little kitty cube. It's cute. After making our way to the ship's power generator, we're plopped into another boss fight where we have to guide missiles into these power supplies and then push hockey puck things into the main generator while surviving an onslaught of enemies. Whilst this boss isn't overly hard, it is somewhat creative and it's pretty fun to tackle. In fact, all of the bosses in this game are actually really fun to take on. Even if they're really easy, it is a game aimed towards younger kids, so the difficulty doesn't really matter too much as long as it's fun, which it is, so good job game. You did good. So after blowing up the alien ship, their ruler decides to end this battle once and for all by forming a blocky Megazord and then destroying the planet. Here we have to distract and slow down the Megazord while the rest of the villagers work on generating enough energy to fire this cannon thing at the mech and destroy it. This boss is actually pretty nifty as it incorporates a lot of what the player has been learning throughout the game to distract it. From throwing bombs at its feet to using the cannons, we must do whatever it takes to stop it from reaching the village village before the timer thing reaches 100. Not gonna lie to you, it's piss easy. Just jump between these two cannons and spam the boss into oblivion, and the Megazord won't be able to move at all. Hooray, we did it! The villagers then fire the cannon at the mech and send it flying back into space, and the day is saved thanks to Hello Kitty & Co. And there you have it, Hello Kitty Roller Rescue. As a whole, this game isn't actually that bad, and I did find myself enjoying it for the most part. Sadly, it is let down quite a bit by its iffy platforming and movement, but other than that, it's a pretty fun little gem. It also helps that the graphics are pretty great and have aged fantastically due to the bright and colourful models. And hey, the soundtrack is fun and fits the game well. Good stuff. It also helps that I managed to complete this game in just over an hour, so that's the thing. Go play Hello Kitty Roller Rescue. It's fun. You won't regret it. It's a good game. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please share it with your friends, family, or creepy neighbor, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Just want to say a huge thank you to my Patreon supporters, Austin, James, Stuart, Melvin, Joe, Mark, Classy, and Harvey. I really can't thank you all enough. It's awesome. You guys are awesome. If there's anything you liked or didn't like, be sure to let me know in the comments down below, or tweet me at Snooping Turtle. Also, if you want to watch more videos of me doing dumb shit, then you can check out this video I did for Ratchet & Clank 3, or this one I did for my top 10 favorite PS2 games. They're available right now for the low price of free. Go watch them if you want, or don't. I don't know. Have a good day. Nice. Okay. That's all for me now. Hope you have a lovely day. Bye-bye. It even has this little sound effect, and I love it. It's adorable, okay?